All right, sexual follies. So there's an article out, I think it was on it had some weird title of the website, but it's called 100 Easy Ways to Make Women's Lives More Bearable. Because women's lives are so unbearable. And it's by Dani Beckett, Dani girl spelled, D-I-N-I Beckett. You know, I was going to do a whole funny article about this, but my daughter beat me to it. So if you want to read her take on it, it's Faith Moore over at PJ Media. She went on again about this. But I have to read this because it's everything that is wrong with feminism packed into just this little angry, nasty, mean article from Dani Beckett. She says, every year I wake up on March 8th to a flurry of tweets from men wishing me a happy International Women's Day. Ooh, I forgot to send that one. So she didn't hear from me this year. But she says, and every year I find myself thinking, well, thanks. But is that it? Is that all the support for gender equality that you can muster for the entire year? And then she goes on and gives you 100 ways to make women's lives more bearable, because I think she's British, but I know in Britain and America, women's lives are just so unbearable. It's unbearable to be female. So here are her some of her suggestions, possibly with some of my answers. Number one, before explaining something to a woman, ask yourself if she might already understand. She may know more about it than you do. See, Dani, let me explain this to you. This is why women don't know anything, because they get offended when you explain it to them. Number two, never, ever try to explain feminism to a woman. I wouldn't try to explain feminism to anyone because it's completely irrational. Three, trans women are women. Repeat that until you perish. Dani, cutes, love. Let me explain this to you. Please, sit, listen. Saying something false over and over again doesn't actually make it true. That just doesn't happen. You probably don't know that because you're a woman. Four, respect people's pronouns. It's not hard. My response to that is, shut up. Five, remember that fat women exist and aren't all trying to get thin. Treat them with respect. I do treat them with respect until, they're not looking. Six, in fact, just never comment on a woman's body. Dani, you are cute when you're mad. Here's another one. If you read stories to a child, swap the genders. Yes, because it's really fun to turn your children into psychopaths. Trust women. When they teach you something, don't feel the need to go and check for yourself. Especially, do not Google it in front of them. See, that's women hate when you prove they're wrong because they're irrational. Finally, examine your language when talking about women. Get rid of words like irrational, bossy, and badgering. Dani, I can make your life more bearable with one piece of advice. Stop being like this. You're irrational, bossy, and badgering. You're totally, and this is what is wrong with feminism, is they hate the way men behave. So they imitate the way men behave, and they think it's okay because they're women. They look at men who are aggressive and arrogant and overbearing and nasty, and they say, oh, well, I'm a nasty woman. I'm an overbearing woman. I'm strong. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. It doesn't matter. A man acts like that. He's a jerk. You act like that. You're a jerk. Your life would be much more bearable, and people would like you a lot more if you'd stop talking to them like that. All right, the mailbag is tomorrow. Like I said, go to thedailywire.com. You have to be a subscriber, but you want to subscribe anyway so you can get to the conversation with Shapiro. After you do that, hit the podcast button at thedailywire.com. Go to my podcast, hit the mailbag button, ask your questions. Answers guaranteed 100% correct, will change your life on occasion for the better. I want to go out with the song from the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I play this in honor of Dani over at her website, whatever it's called. This is called a little song. It's very funny. It's called Let's Generalize About Men. I'm Andrew Klavan. This is The Andrew Klavan Show. I'll see you tomorrow.
It's our right to get righteously mad. Every member of the opposite sex. Oh God, we hate them. That's what I'm saying. Let's not distinguish between them at all. Let's just drink a lot more alcohol and then high five each other as we make a bunch of blanket statements. Let's generalize about men. Let's generalize about men. Let's take one bad thing about one man and apply it to all of them. Let's conflate all the guys. Let's generalize about men. All men are completely repressed. are like this. All 3.6 billion men. All men are emotionally stunted. When asked how they feel, every man's always grunted.
And why do men never listen and only think about themselves, as opposed to women who always listen and never think about themselves?
I hear you.
The Andrew Klavan Show is produced by Robert Sterling. Executive producer, Jeremy Boring. Senior producer, Jonathan Hay. Our supervising producer is Mathis Glover. Technical producer, Austin Stevens. Edited by Alex Zingaro. Audio is mixed by Mike Cormina. Hair and makeup is by Jesua Alvera. And our animations are by Cynthia Angulo and Jacob Jackson. The Andrew Klavan Show is a Daily Wire Forward Publishing production. Copyright Forward Publishing 2018.